Yes, this is, of course, another episode of our podcast Dance Gems, and today we're going to talk about dance, the intertwining of movement and expression. But of course, I will never do that without my good friend Ton. Let me see if he's there. Hey, Ton, how are you?
Hi, hi, Sean. Nice to see you. Yes, a new
Yeah,
episode again.
a new episode, and I have something exciting for you. It's dance, the intertwining of movement and expression. I'm already excited about it. What about you?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And yes, let's go, I would say.
Let's go with that. What do you think on first, Tom? Is it first expression or is it first movement?
I think first movement, because if you not would move, you would and nothing change because the facial expression, if you move, it changed already. So first move and then expression.
First move and then expression. Yeah. Yeah, I think good. Thank you for listening, of course, you all. And if I ask a question to Ton and Ton ask a question to me, then maybe you have your own answer, of course, right? Because we often say there's no right and wrong. Maybe there are other arguments why it's the other way around, but sounds like reasonable. First we move and then we have an expression. Do you think that there is something before even movement and expression?
Uh, yes, you have your intuition and your instinct
Yeah,
as a person, and you feel something,
yeah.
and then you
If
get
you're
a
conscious, maybe.
yeah. Maybe if you're conscious,
Yeah,
and s- maybe even when you are not conscious about it,
yeah,
even then you have also expression. So
yeah,
the awareness would be nice. If you have that, then you can have influence on your expression.
yeah, yeah. That's nice, right? So why should we have? Why should I want to have influence on my expression?
If you are a dancer, it would be nice to have influence on it and to be aware that you not just follow that somebody else say your teacher or your trainer or sometimes a coach look like this and do like this. Then you follow actually the information of your teacher, trainer, coach, and what I would like is that you follow your own, um, how you say, tools if you have them in expression. If you not have them, then you just can only follow because you trust them, you believe them, and it would be nice if you would understand the expression, and then as a person you could decide to use it or not to use it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, can we? What are the differences? I know you wrote about it in your book, The Gem, and if I'm not
Ah,
wrong, then there are like four or so. But
yes, yes, yes,
what are the
yes.
different expressions we can have, Tom?
Ah, I have in my book, yes, four. That's
Mm-hmm.
the body language, your
Body language.
facial expression, you
It's two.
could say emotion,
Mm-hmm.
the gestures with your fingers
Mm-hmm.
or with your arms and hands,
Mm-hmm.
and the use of dynamic.
And the use
And
of them.
if you know the context in this four, um, what happened before and after, then you could use this for. But this is only from your inner world. You can decide that. The other things from your inner world, what you decide, gets external. So when I bend or stretch or rotate with one finger, then already my expression change. I do it to the camera. I can do the hand here, that's a gesture, but I can point also a finger, and when I turn the finger, yeah, it gets certain feeling for somebody who is watching to it.
Yeah.
And when you are watching to it, you can interpret it as something negative or positive.
Or whatever
Yeah.
feeling you
What?
get with it. Yeah, interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, so you already started to talk about, of course, you have your expressions in normal life, right? Which is nice to follow and become a little bit more aware of, which I would like to stimulate you, not you, Ton, but the people who are listening, of course. So, what are they? And then, of course, as dancers or performers in general, we try to choose more what we would like to express, right? We
Yes. Absolutely.
we have no 100% influence of what the other feel from it. That's their choice, right? But we can choose what we express. So that's one thing. And then you had four, and then if we talk a lot about these four, then these four they probably can break down in smaller parts. But then of course you have the interesting question: do we always have to be congruent? That means all the same type of expression in all those four things. Let's say we have a little bit of an expression of, a little bit lightness, happiness. Do we have to be with our gestures,
Hmm.
more happiness, and with our face more this?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yeah.
this? Do you see you get, if you can see it, guys, if you can see it, then I made a smiley face with maybe happy hand. That's an interpretation, of course. And it completely changed when I made it from a smiley face, a sad face. So Ton and I like to, of course, experiment with making it not so obvious, but that's just a choice, right? It's just a choice. And you can also make it all congruent, everything the same, everything happy, happy face, happy body, you know, happy body language, and happy dynamics, if that's possible. Ton, what do you think about that? That was a lot.
Yes,
There
it's
was a
not. It's
lot there. Yeah.
yeah. No, that was okay. Um, if you have your body language, you
Mm-hmm.
can with your body parts you can bend, stretch, and rotate. So
Mm-hmm.
when I bend my head a little bit to the side, then you could interpret a different information from it. So when I close my eyes with it also, and maybe I change my muscles in my face, then you could interpret also something from it. If you have these tools, you can use your body language, bending, stretching, and rotate, but you could let away your facial expression.
Yep.
So, and then people would say, it looks a little bit empty. But it could be the choice of the choreographer or the dancer to do this when it's when they are aware of it. When they not use it and they are unconscious, then they don't have influence on it. And as a choreographer and dancer, I want to have influence on it, even also on the external, like my color of my hair, what I not have, my my costume, my
Yeah.
color of my
Clothes.
costume. Yes,
Clothes.
yes, and my shoes. Everything I want, I can decide how it will look and what I want to express. And mostly, I want to express something what's different from the others, but sometimes I want to express what everybody will think it will be expressed. So when you have a funeral and I would make a dance about a funeral, I could decide to choose very happy clothing and also the colors, like bright colors, or I use the more conservative, I go totally in black. It's a choice. And if you have that choice, then you are use your awareness to get influence on it. If you not have that choice, you will probably take what is in your backpack from your history, what you know already. So you would do the hair, the makeup, the clothing, the shoes, your props. You would take it like you have it in your backpack, like from your history. But if you would think out of the box, you could even do more with the external things. Yes. What do you think about Sean?
No, no, I do. We often, of course, when we think about stage performance, it's just what you can see and what you can hear. Maybe a little bit what you feel from a temperature point of view, but we don't take it so far as throwing water into the audience so that they can
Mhm.
truly feel it, or making weird smells, which you and I probably would love to do if that was
Yes,
possible,
absolutely.
because then play all the five senses and a little bit be off if you could do that. So, I mean, I've been to some plays, play as in a stage play, where they try to do that. In a famous theater festival in a city called Den Bosch, called the Boulevard, and they have a lot of experimental type of stuff, which I like, and then but it's often not so well appreciated if we go a little bit beyond beyond the normal, like say we do weird smells and let the room fill up with that. But that's a form of expression too, because we receive. Let's look at the receiving of the expression. We receive with all our senses, whether we like it or not.
Hmm.
you know
Hmm. Yes, I see also expression when you are dancing and you have your
hmm
body language.
hmm
You can, and your facial expression, you can have this symmetric. And what I mean with symmetric is you are angry in the face, but
hmm
also angry in your body parts. Like
Yes.
you take the
Yeah,
fist,
we call it
or
congruent. Yeah. Yeah.
how you call that?
Congruent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain that word, Sean?
Yeah, congruent it means that if that's possible, I have a happy body and I have a happy face and I have happy movements. All the
Yes.
all the
Y-
things are aligned, or you call it symmetric, but it's mhm,
Yes. You could also hit somebody and smile with it, or hit somebody and you are angry in the face. So it
mhm,
sounds very negative to hit somebody, but if I would give somebody a hug, I could do it like I'm angry, or I hug somebody like I'm really, really happy or romantic. So you can play with it in it, because you can hug somebody also and you be very, in your body language, very strong, but in your facial expression, you are very soft. So you can play with that one. It has not to be that you are hard in the body, also hard in the face. Yes. So you have, like, say, the basic emotions in the face, six from Darwin, and now we have eight because I did more research about it. And the body language you have also six, and there are symmetric, or how you call that word, Sean?
congruent. Yeah.
Yeah, congruent. And then you have the eight what you have now. You have also the sub emotions, and all emotions, when I would say sexy, that could be different for somebody else. Sexy, to look sexy, and but mostly we look sexy because we have it in our backpack. It's something what we learned, and this we would follow. So sexy could be in your body language, and your facial expression could be
Hmm.
totally
Yeah.
different from somebody else. So the basic emotions and body language, it's all over the world the same.
ac-
And yeah,
According to Darwin's theory.
yeah, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. There is a little bit of controversy in there, but smile is in most countries it's the same. If my corners of my mouth go up, then I think everyone. But there is, of course, a slight difference to see people kind of feel whether we make a fake smile or a real smile. They
Mhm.
they believe they can they can see it, which is, let's try that for a moment. It's a little bit harder for the people who are listening and not looking at me at the moment. But, if my thoughts behind my smile, I don't have to work so hard for it to make it a little bit more real, right? But when I on purpose take negative thoughts and I make a smile, uh, it's a little bit already, that you can see it's not really real. So even the not real and real, you can kind of fake. But you actually, that's what Ton and I were talking about. I would definitely stimulate you specifically if you're a dancer and a performer, experiment a little bit with it. In his book, Gem, Ton has many pictures of his smile, and you can actually really see from the smile whether the smile is kind of fake or real. The smile is real, obviously, because it's a real smile, but whether it's congruent with the emotions or feeling behind it. And I should say feeling in this case, because emotion is always a bodily expression. But that's a whole different discussion.
Yes, yeah, you can have two things in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can really smile from the inside because you want to smile from
Yeah.
your heart and from your soul, from all the muscles that you smile. But you can also smile because somebody asked to smile.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you know that you use all the muscles in your face, it's about 40 muscles. If they work together with it and the body language, then somebody, when you could say fake it, could believe that it would be real. If only the mouth would smile, then you use only the muscles of the mouth and not from the nose, from the eyes, from your ears, from your body, from your head. Because I don't know how you call this here in the front, Sean.
Oh, I don't know, your forehead. I don't know.
The forehead, yes.
Yeah.
So all these muscles work together, and if you know these tools, it could really look like real.
Yeah.
And when you believe your smile, because this is what artists also do, and actors, if they know the tools, they you have two ways. You really lift the expression, or you fake it, but you live it too because you have one experience with it. Yes, I saw this morning a very funny video. Somebody kicked somebody between the legs. Sorry, guys and listeners. But he was like, oh, 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 and goes to his wife and did, because she was pregnant, like, oh, it's so heavy, it's so heavy, it's so. What was for the camera? It was. Uh, I thought it was kind of funny. I thought it was be really different. I didn't expect that because he kicked him between the legs. He go immediately to the wife, and they said, um, they started the video. And that was really funny because it looks like he was crying, but he had so much pain between the leg. Yes, was nice. That's funny. This you can fake it also on that way.
Yeah. 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 Now, well, of course, that's where you come to the point of acting and performing. Um, good
And
acting
context. If you not know
and
the context before, so they
yeah,
would only show you the video where he was crying. You never saw that somebody
he was
kicked him
kicked.
between the leg.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
the context or sometimes the stage, if you're an actor, it would be they make it all again congruent or in line is maybe an easier way to say it, in line with what the emotion is, right? And if you look at a movie and a sad scenes happens, the people is crying, the face is crying, you will see that the light changes a little bit, that they probably change, if there is music, they change the mood of the music a little bit. But of course there are many ways, specifically in comedies, where they overdo it or do it just the other way around, so that makes it always a little bit more even comical, or depends on what you want to do.
Yes, it's
You can
also proved, Sean,
what?
that it's proved also what you said, the sound, the
Yeah,
expression of a video, how
yeah,
it must look.
Oh yeah.
uh, five people look to a video where you hear some horror
Yeah.
sounds.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same pictures, actually, the videos,
Yeah.
and the other one looks like it would be a holiday with bright
Yeah.
uh, with a bright music,
Music.
and then after it, they will speak with each other. What you saw? Oh,
Yeah.
it was a terrible video. I could not look till the end. And the other one said, "Huh? I saw something totally different
Yeah.
because I thought it was a like very happy and bright video." And the other one looked like who saw the horror video or with the sound. They said it was an awful video. So you can see how much influence can have also sound on the pictures. So it's important which atmosphere you want to set there. Even as a person, it's all tools. First, your inner tools, and then the external tools also for expression.
Yeah.
And I said it also in my book. The expression is the art, actually, the outside, the color of your skin, the the hair color, your age, actually, your clothing, what I wear now, uh, with something on it. So if it would be functional, then it would be just functional. But it is also important that expression express what you want to tell and try to get influence on all components, on your body language, on your facial expression, on your gestures, on your use of dynamic, but also on the other ones, on your clothing, on the colors, and which atmosphere you want to put there. And
Yes.
so it's very
Mm.
wide and very deep also expression.
Yeah. Well, and of course, if you have a full stage performance, then the choreographer and the dancers have a little bit more influence on the music that will be played and other things and the lightning lights and the lights is not the lightning but the lights and so on. If you are a ballroom dancer and by if you have listened to us a few times, then you know what ballroom dancing is, right? It's often two people that going on the floor, but where we dance either a cha-cha-cha or a waltz or something like that. And we have actually no influence as dancers over the light and even the music that is played. So we call that the strength of the medium. What can you influence? And hopefully you're conscious of it and make choices in there that you can be behind. But that doesn't mean you should not be aware of the things that you have no influence over, because you still can do something with it, right? In the expression that you have. So let me give
Yes.
you a little example. If you're very far off the audience and you want to have a happy smile, you have to, I don't want to say overdo it, but you have to be maybe even more clear. Probably you have a better word for it, Tom, but you have to be a little bit stronger in your expression, but that would already be a qualification. So, but
Yeah, you if you smile like I smile now, then I would smile like
yeah, make it a
even
little bit more then.
I would exaggerate that,
Yes,
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 from
that's
a
the word that I
distance.
was looking for. Thank you very much. So, but if we're now close to camera, it's so being aware of these differences is already a good help, right? Aware is an
Mhm.
important thing here in when you want to express things. Are there things done? I mean, you are almost like a specialist in this. How often do we see it that people are actually unaware of what they express, and is there can we do something with that?
Yes, it's actually a judgment,
Hmm.
Sean.
Yes,
My
of course.
feeling,
I agree.
and what I think
Hmm.
is that the trainers
Hmm.
put them in a role,
Yeah.
and the dancers will follow that one. And
Hmm.
even also in not only in ballroom dancing, but also in hip hop or in breaking. I see it also in the ballet world and in the contemporary world also. Actually, I would give them tools, also the teachers and the trainers and the coaches. If you know the tools, and the dancer could choose, and they would learn them these tools, these dancers, they could use these tools. But mostly I see, like on a competition, also in the ballroom world and in the hip hop, come on, do more, do more. And they work with their face like, come on, and we do a little bit extra and a little bit more harder turn, more faster the turns, and more higher jumps and more muscle tension. And you can see on the whole language that they are used more than usual. And mostly it's not necessary. If you know the tools, you can play with this muscle tension, because it's not only bending, stretching, and rotating, it's also the use of your muscle tonus,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
what you could express with it, and also in your facial expression. And the most teachers, they say more, and you can see on the floor the information is from expression they are working. And in the ballet, I I saw a documentary last, and one famous choreographer in the Netherlands, I will not put a name on it, he said you have to look like this. and and he did it also because he is very famous, and I was very surprised that they put the dancer just in the corner, and the dancer, professional dancers, they study maybe 15 years, 20 years on dancing, that they follow the information of the choreographer. And he said you can think about this and this and this situation. So this, I thought it was very nice. But he did also how they must look with their face, and he gave an example with it. I was actually in shock.
Well,
But
if it's a documentary, you can say the name because everyone can see it.
oh, okay, Hans van Manen was it?
Oh yeah,
And he is 91
years
years
old.
old now,
Very good
and I have a
choreographer.
lot of respect
Oh
for
yeah, of
him.
course.
And even he still is working. So
Yeah,
I'm
amazing.
I'm it's really amazing.
Mm-mm.
Uh, I
Yeah,
want also to work like that, like he worked on
yeah.
91. So
Oh.
I'm very impressed. But with this one, with the expression, I was actually disappointed. Why a man of 91 do something in the face, an expression that the other one will imitate?
Mhm.
That's I not understand.
Well, if it's with beginner dances, then of course we do some training to say, hey, this is we give it a little bit of meaning what people can see, but at some point in time, of course, experienced dancers starts to you don't have to show it first, but people you wrote that too. People learn in the beginning from mirroring. Uh, what they see. That's a normal thing, right, Ton? Ton? That's also true in
Yes,
expression. I
yes, yes,
mean, the first expression that we learn is just mimicking the expressions that we see from our parents. Um,
yes. When we are small, yes.
yeah. So, and that's not different. I was working this week with a relatively unexperienced group of dancers, and also a very mixed group of dancers, and actually on music that you made, Ton. So that would be
Mhm.
interesting to see. Um, but yeah, you could clearly see that some dancers are very much more in, still thinking about the movement that they need to make instead of already on the level where they could more express the movement that they make. Actually, when I was going there a little bit too fast, they didn't even know the difference between the two. Yeah, just so that's interesting to see. And of course they're completely unaware of the expression because they were so concentrating on the expression that they have to make, so all kind of facial expressions came on the face without even knowing it. How would you work with that, Ton, if people are still in that phase, concentrating hard on the movement they need to make, and maybe a little bit too afraid that they make mistakes and stuff like that? How do you coach people like that, Tom?
I coach people like that. I give them tools,
Mm-hmm.
and these tools. is that they can make their own choice.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the tools or you are not aware of that one, um, yes, you can just follow. It's like the first time that I learned skiing in sport. That's
Yeah.
maybe not the nice example. So, but I learned these techniques in skiing from this teacher. I follow him, I trust him. In dancing, I would do the same, give them tools, or when you learn to drive a car, and at the end, you can drive the car by yourself. And this I would learn them in the body language. So I would explain them that if you bend, stretch, or rotate with a certain muscle tension, and you be aware of the muscles who are or the body parts who are moving and not is moving,
Mm-hmm.
then you have already influence on your body language.
Yep.
And with the facial expression, I would take Darwin as an example with his six basic emotions. Then the facial expression and the body language, they go together, or you can separate them. So I would give them more tools that there are can work with them and make their own choice with it. And the most beautiful, what I think, is when we can speak about it, the executed dancer and the choreographer, and then we can or they can make a choice, and then I think they will be more close to themselves instead to fake something. Um, and how you would do that, Sean?
Yeah, I use the word how can you express a feeling that you might not really have in that moment, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
want to express someone that dies, we don't have to kill someone first to express that. But maybe specifically with a little bit more experienced people, they can go to a place where they can bring up that feeling how it was to when someone dies, and then find for themselves first the body language and the dynamics and the facial expressions that goes together with that, and then we talk about it. I'm not saying, oh, if someone dies you have to do like this, your shoulders down, um, but I
Yes.
ask them, and if they don't feel it themselves, then I ask them to describe someone else. If you see someone, how would you picture someone that has that feeling? And that last part works actually with unexperienced dancers very very well, because when they start to describe the other one who is sad, they typically mimic the movement themselves almost immediately. So then I kind of, awake that feeling a little bit in them. And that's what I do. That's the first phase. And then I explain them mostly that if, when we are in a performance art, that the audience is not so close by, so we have to overdo it a little bit for the other people to make visible, and that is for a lot of people a very scary feeling. So then you come with some people too close to the heart that they have a harder time just to express feelings in general, right? And then we just talk about it. I do a lot of talking while we are on the floor, and instead of talking, saying, "Hey, can you maybe do it?" Um, but I never force them. I never say you have to wink here, you have to smile there. I think, because it's a happy dance, so we all have to smile. I I personally never did that, and I probably never will. But I do think it's sometimes fun to do it on purpose, right? Can we
Oh,
all
okay.
on purpose, make a smile? It gives a kind of a comical, sometimes a dramatic effect. But then it's more choreographed, and we agree all to do it in their way. So that's kind of a fun way to yeah. So
Yes.
that's how I do it. I think it's one of the most for personal. It's a choice. It's no judgment, but I think it's one of the most fascinating things in performance art is help people to express things that they don't feel at that moment themselves. And in our choreographies, normally, Tom, we go very quickly through different emotions and feelings. So it's impossible to really feel them, but you still want to be authentic to them. So I think that's a nice challenge for dancers and choreographers to do
Yes.
that
The moments you are dancing, they go so fast
so fast.
that sometimes your body is faster than your mind.
Oh yeah.
And if your mind would be faster than your body,
Hmm.
you could have influence on it. So you could
Absolutely.
already think before you go into it.
Yeah.
You live the moment,
Yeah.
but also you be in front of the moment. I hope the listener will understand me. And what you feel, that's your source.
Hmm.
And what you think is about your feeling. And there will be an outcome. So what you feel is the source, and the form is that expression, that facial expression, the emotions, the body language. This is the form of it, of what you feel and what you thought.
Yeah.
And if you realize that, you can have influence on it.
Yeah.
And when I dance and my partner say, "Oh, you look so serious," it could be a choice, or I could be not aware of it.
Yeah.
So when I'm not aware of it, I can think about it and will think which atmosphere I want to do at that moment. I want to smile or I want to look angry. So there is always a choice.
Yeah,
And
I think so too. I like that a lot in your teaching always. I also think, and interpret. No, I interrupted you a little bit because I
mhm,
had this thought that when I see dancers every time they make that choice, even if we already decide this is a happy piece, but you can see that they really choose to be happy in that moment instead of
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
happy because I was told to be happy in that moment. There is a nuance in there when they truly make that choice every time when they dance it. For me it's a huge difference.
Yes.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
yes, and you can see the dancers who just moving on the floor,
Mm-hmm.
but you can also see dancers who make that choice, and you can feel their passion and that
Yes.
choice, and to variate the expression and variation. So we will do it probably in the next podcast. It's dynamic,
Yes.
and dynamic is change the situations. And this you can do with your expression, with your muscle tension, with your dynamic, different dynamic qualities. So we will do this in a different podcast, but still it has influence on your expression.
Yeah, I think it's dynamic. It's one of your tools, you know, of expression. In the end of in the end of the day, of course, everything ends up in being an expression. Whether people see what you would like to express is not on you.
Yeah.
You can only express what you choose to express, and sometimes you express also what you didn't choose to express.
Yes.
And dynamic will be a great topic, Tom. We probably could do multiple episodes on it, and with all respect, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think that a lot of people think only about change of timing, that is dynamic.
Yeah.
But That's what I hear at least most. But so we'll do that. Yeah, I like that. I was actually preparing for a small show for Saturday, and they were already recording the repetition, and the one with the least expression was me because I was constantly watching the students. I was dancing in the piece and I was constantly watching the students what they were doing. And guess
Yeah.
who stood out the weirdest? It was of course me because I was not in the dance itself.
Yeah.
So it's still an expression. So
Yes. Yes.
this is what I
And
want to say. You can never have not an expression.
the other ones probably, because I cannot say something what they think. Probably it will look like you are checking the other ones.
Yes.
And
Yes,
what's nice
obviously.
too, because you are the main teacher then there,
Yeah.
and you are try to let them feel safe also, probably.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was. This is a just give you a little bit of context. That always helps. This is a little bit of a traditional dance studio. When there is a group performance, people are used to do that. We all do the same movement on the same piece of music, and if we go left, we all go left, and so that's a little bit what they see. They see couples dancing, and they are very used to see couples then doing the same movements. I hope people can see that context, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you know me a little bit, and definitely if you know Ton and me together, then at least we challenge that. We would try not so far off that the audience don't recognize anything anymore. So I made a good mix of where it's organized, chaotic, and that had already in the rehearsals such a big impact on the audience. It was a delight to see, but for me it was not to satisfy the audience there already. It was actually to help the dancers to see that there was something nice in it to be not the same. And in the beginning they say, oh, but you have to tell us when to lift our arm, and they were confused because I said, I'm not going to do that, not in this piece. I said,
Hmm.
and they were surprised what the effect was on. You can see from my face that I'm delighted with it, that the effect. So I instead of telling them what the effect was, I want them to also, while creating the dance, already experience the emotions and the feelings. And I think that helps in the learning process. The quicker they can experience themselves the effects. And then I didn't say good or bad. I said I don't care. I mean, I don't care if people walk out of the room. It's their
Yes.
choice, not our choice. And so,
Yes, yes.
mm,
I have also one example,
mhm.
maybe a few.
Yeah, yeah, you have a lot.
Um, the express thing, it's the outside. What you feel and your choice from your
Hmm.
conscious or from your thoughts is your inside. So when the inside do something from the unconscious, like, oh, I want to do funny, like I made one of these shows and somebody make they were kidding like that. Then I said to them, "Oh, this is nice. We will put it in." "Oh, no, no, it's just a joke." I said, "Oh, I like this joke because it's different than it would be normally."
Yeah,
"No, no, no, I do not want to do that because I look like a fool." "No, that's super because you expressed it before. The other ones was laughing, so I want also that I can reach the audience that they will laugh also about it. So can you reproduce it again?" And he thought that I was not serious, but I was. So I put it in. Then one other teacher came then who said, "Ton, I want to see your piece." "Okay, why you put that in? That's a little bit too funny there. Don't put it in." So you see how people have an interpretation of that one. So one like it, the other one don't like it. But what I want to say is try to be close by yourself, make your own choices in that one, and then do it. I want not to influence it. I encourage it. I not encourage it. I said go full for it. And another example is I made one with sunglasses or
hmm,
with 3D glasses, and one of the children put two glasses on. I think okay, it's funny. Yes, she wants to do with two, and then she did three on it, and I said nothing. And the whole show, then after she felt she could not control the three, so she did two, and then she go again to one. But I didn't say anything about it because I let her free. And I can also tell you, as a young child, if the parents say take this clothing, um, behave like this, and parents would say no, you cannot do this, you cannot wear this, you can only do your hair like that, then you take a break on it, on their development to express themselves. And why can not the children wear what they want to wear? Why want the parents so much influence on it? That's a different podcast, but still, you can, if you take a break on it to express yourself as a young child, probably you have problems in the older age to express you also how you want to express. So I give a lot of freedom to them how they want to express, because I'm sure they are then close by themselves, and this is the most important, that they feel strong and be close to themselves, that they feel their own power.
Yeah, yeah, that is definitely something for a different podcast. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of course, do kids? Some kids don't just dare for fear of judgment that they don't fully express themselves. Some kids they want to express themselves because they believe that it is expected from them. Sometimes they want to be a little bit too rebellious. um, yeah, I have thoughts, of course, my personal opinion about it, but in the end, should we control it? We also should be aware of that we always have freedom of choice. We don't have a freedom of consequence,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we can do things in society that maybe provoke, specifically with younger people, provoke maybe the reaction you don't want from other people, right? So I have a daughter, and she sometimes say, Dad, can I wear everything I want? I said, yeah, in principle, yes, but do know that what you express has an influence on the other people,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
specifically if they go out and signals. Yeah, for of course me growing up in the 60s where everything almost was possible, right? I have a lot of freedom in mind, but I'm a little bit of a conservative person if it comes to that. So what other people call sexy, I might think, that goes a little bit too far, you know.
Yeah, yes, you
Yeah,
have
that
two
is
kind of.
it. Yeah,
Yes, you're.
that's a hard choice. And I think, Tom, what you try to say, at least have a discussion with your child or with your students around these things so that they can make an informed decision with
Yes,
it. I know that some of my students, when they use a certain song with very kind of inviting language where it's all about sexuality and stuff like that, I really always wonder, do you want to be rebellious? Why are you then surprised that some people react to you like that? Is that, So I think it's always about the discussion that you
and
have around it.
it depends what music expressed there,
Of
because
course,
the artist who wrote that music, maybe he want also to express something and go over the edge or not,
we don't
or
know.
it's so primary he
Yeah,
made that song,
yeah,
and secondary you choose that song
yeah.
and you make something to it. So I would say, if you want to express something,
Hmm.
realize what you want to express. And when you are be aware of it, then exactly what you said, the consequences are yours. Because you have two kind of people, progressive people and conservative people.
Yeah,
And I don't know what is the average of it, or it's in balance, I don't know. But if you have different ages in the whole, young people and old, and women and men, so be aware what you want
yeah.
to do with it.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually, but of course that's a different topic, but it has a lot to do with expression, and I think the key word is aware of what you. I mean, I think there you can quickly put it down, right? What you want to express is doesn't always have to be the same as what you express, and it doesn't have to be the same as what the receiver feels of what you're expressing. You don't have a lot of control over that, but you need to be aware of all these things, and then you can make your choices. And I think that last part is always what Tom and I try to talk about, is if you're aware of the choices, then you can make them. You can be a little bit more conservative if the situation requires that. If you're on stage, I think take it pretty bold, but
Mhm.
that's a little bit in normal life. That's the beauty of stage performance. In any situation, we can just be a little bit different than always and always in normal life. That's why it's a performance, and that's why it's so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, this is why art has no rules, and you can
exactly.
express your art how
Yeah,
you want to express, but be
yeah,
aware how the receiver received it and
yeah,
how they interpreted it. Um, if you say it's okay, then go full for it.
yeah.
If
That.
you think, okay, I will tweak a little bit on this and this, then
Yeah.
you have again a different expression. But what I want to say is be aware that you have everything from the outside express what you are. And when somebody say you have to do this, then
Mm-hmm.
you follow the expression. So try to come to the core of it, to yourself, and express what you want, and try to discover the tools what you have, and do more research about express, because my feeling is, and this is a judgment, that in dancing we work more on the physical, on the movement, on the form or shape, you can call it. In my language, I would say, in my book, I speak about form and dynamic, but sometimes they forget what they want to express with it. And then you see a human being who's just moving, and they not realize that the expression is the cherry on the cake.
Yeah, yeah. So cherry on top. I do. I believe so too. There is, of course, always some judgment. And it's a little bit also what we as choreographers or dancers, believe in. And then you of course can judge us on that. But yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. That even specifically in the dance sport, as they call it, and that's what I watch the most, is it feels that it all goes into, for me, in a one-dimensional dynamic where it's sometimes only about the movement, and even emotional expression is very predictable, right?
Mhm.
It's the same. But again, guys, this is a judgment. It's just what I see. Maybe I don't look around enough to see everything you do. um, but I see that. I even hear people, a lot of drill and practice where they all yell at the same time, and of course it gives a lot of ruah feeling. We do, yeah, and it gives just this motivational thing in a room like militaries, and I know, I mean, I can feel the energy. I like that part. I do like, but do think that if it becomes an art and you want to be, then you come to the weird thing, Tom, is when they do that all the same. It's like I saw it just from a dance camp just a day ago, and they do that all, and they're all ruha, and then they go on the floor, and then they want to be individuals. Then I think like, wow, that's kind of weird. Yesterday you were also happy that you were all yelling at the same time, and now you want to be an individual. Why didn't you practice yesterday to yell exactly at a different moment than everyone else did? Because then you would stood out.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
do you understand? So I think now Uton have been literally my example of always doing it different. And there was a time when I thought like, oh, there is this Tom Greten. He always want to be different. But in
Mhm,
the end, whether people you liked it or not, it's a judgment. But you probably, in my mind, were one of the most individual dancers out there. Whether it fit and what people wanted to see or not, that has no. For me, that's not a point at all. The point is that sometimes we say we want things, and then we go with 200 people on the same floor, and we all like to yell together, and then suddenly we want to be individuals the next day. How does that match up?
mhm, mhm.
That is what I sometimes wonder. Like,
Yes,
interesting.
yes, it's yes. The expression, what I want also to say, it's a holistic
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
thing. It's not just you express only one. It's
Well,
the whole being of you express everything what you have. So try to understand the tools like the body language. I repeat it again: the facial expression, the gestures, the use of dynamic, and all the other things like color, clothing,
out.
the makeup, your hair, how you do your hair, the shoes, your props. everything, the sound, what you use, what you want to express when you do a show, when you make a video, how you want to put the different angles in it to express that video,
Yeah.
and etc. etc. It's so huge, this subject, the expression, that people not realize how big it is sometimes. And if you understand it, try to be close by yourself and
Yeah.
make your own choices in it. You can have a debate with it with your teacher, trainer, or
Colleagues.
with
Yeah.
your colleagues, but come to your own conclusion and your own choice. And this makes you, and when it makes you, this makes it more real, because there is only one human exemplar in the world, and this is you. There are no second you. So choose and learn more or discover more the tools and expression.
Yeah. Totally agree. And it goes two ways, right? It goes from inside
Yes.
out, but it also goes from outside in. I
Yes.
think that was a great conclusion for at least this episode of intertwining the dance, the intertwining of movement and and expression. I almost wanted to say emotion, but I meant, of course, expression. Yeah, Tom. I'm curious to our next discussions, and we already, gave a little bit of an insight of that's probably around dynamics. That sounds like a good choice. We might also have some guests, so follow us on Dance Gems. It is a show of Tom and Jean. We're both choreographers and dancers, of course, and we come up with topics that we would like to talk about, but we also would love to talk about topics that you like to talk about. So if you have a wish, don't be afraid to send it to us. And if you don't agree with us, we love you equally. If you do agree with us, we love you too. So this was Jean from Dance Gems. Tom, I'll say to you next time.
Yeah, next time, Sean. I cannot wait till our next episode.
That sounds good. All right, you people. Bye bye.
Bye bye.